Go.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Quantum Leap market preview and daily trade plan setup for August the 29th. It's a Thursday, 2013. I want to welcome all our guests in from Twitter. My name is Doug McKay. I am one of the moderators for Quantum Leap. If you're not familiar with Quantum Leap is a private chat group and live trade room. We've been around for about 4 years now, and we are a self-organized learning environment. We are all retail traders trading and helping each other, find our way throughout this market. We're going to this morning go through our normal morning market review and trade plan setup, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. So first thing we need to do is we always go to our numbers first, but before we do that, we've got to get the legals out of the way. So this information is for the purpose of educating members who want to expand their knowledge of the business of trading. It's not for trading or investment advice. You and only you are responsible for the trades or investment decisions you make. Trading futures or any instrument involves the risk of loss. Please consider carefully whether futures or options are appropriate to your financial situation. Only risk capital should be used when trading futures or options. Investors could lose more than their initial investment. Nobody at Quantum Leap is a certified trading advisor. We are retail traders operating within a self-organized learning environment. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Also, any trades that you see today, we're going to keep the room open, with the live trading. These are for education purposes. Please trade your own plan, do your own due diligence. Don't trade and follow me. Okay, so the first thing we like to do is we go through our numbers. We've been keeping a homework sheet, and we collect different levels of numbers and based on various methodologies, and then the end result is we put out what we call our QLTP, which is our trade plan setup sheet to all our members in the room. But the first thing we like to do is look at the macro to the micro on the key numbers, then we'll go to the charts. So right now the year high is still 1705. Our year low and open are way below us, so we still consider this to be a weak high, but currently we're trading down in that 1637.50 CHVN level. We opened the month at 1685.50. We had a high of 1705, and we put in a new low at 1624.75. Our previous month opened 1600.25. We had a high of 1695.50, a low of 1593.25, and we closed at 1685.25. Our week open this week on Sunday in Globex was 1660.75. We have a week high of 1667.50. This is 2 ticks above that significant CLVN that separates the that blunt area that's becoming a little bit more mature between 67.50 and 29.25. We have a new week low put in at 1624.75. Our previous week open 1651. Our previous week high, 1662.75. Our previous week low, 1631.50. We're just trading just above that. And our previous week close, 1661.25. Nothing changes in terms of the quarterly numbers, so we'll go right to the intraday for yesterday. Yesterday, we opened the Globex at 1628.25. We had a Globex high of 1634.75. We had a Globex low as 1625.75 and a RTH open of 1627. You can see that we're still trending down. The green represents a higher number, red represents a lower number. We had a open test drive yesterday for the open in the RTH. We only broke the IB to the one side, so we had a normal variation. Our opening swing was 1628.50. High 1624.75 for a 3 3/4 point opening swing, giving us a fairly large, wide opening swing, which led to a rotational day. Initial balance is our first hour high and low. Our high was 1633. Our low was 1624.75 for 8 1/4 point initial balance, well within the normal range. 1230 number was 1638. RTH high was 1639 and a quarter. RTH low was 1624.75, and we closed at 1632, and we're currently just trading above that. Our VPOC was 1634. Our range for the for yesterday, we had 12, just over 12 and a half on the RTH, just under 15 and 3/4 on the full session, and just over 9.5 on the Globex. Our Globex open last night was 1630.50. We had a European cash close. That's the 10:30 number. All our numbers in here is in Central Time at 1633.50. We had a lower European cash close. Our value area high was lower at 1638. Our value area low was higher at 1631.50, and we're currently trading just inside of that right now. And that was a 6.5 point value area range. And we made and broke the IB to the high side at 9:36. We keep a time study on the break of the IB, and the average time that the initial balance high or low is broken is within 15 minutes of what we call the pocket, 15 minutes of the IB being set. It's usually made and broke within that 15 minutes. Now today we could have a break of the IB outside of the pocket because of the fact that we're opening up inside of our value area and we're in balance right now. Our ETH extended session high last night was 1631.50. Our extended session low was 1629.75, and we closed at 1630.50 for a 1 3/4 point extended session, which is just running slightly larger than our 20-day ATR on the ETH. And we again had fairly decent volume at 1.3 and 1.6 respectively. Going over to the daily report, the CHVNs, your Pearson pivots and key numbers, your CHVNs, nothing really changed. We are in value there. The CHVNs, 3750 is going to get upgraded this morning because of the fact that we're trading around it and it's becoming more mature, as you'll see on the composite chart. On the CLVNs, these are composites, and by the way, my composite runs from 8/16/07. That's the swing low just before that we put in just before we went up and made the last all-time high up at 1585.75. Our CLVNs that I'm going to be watching today, obviously, 67 above, 29 and a quarter below, and then we've got to bring that 1575 into play as well. We'll look at that on the chart. Brought in some lower CLVNs, and I started a new microcomposite last night for the 2 days of balance that we've had so far. So we've got a new naked microcomposite VPOC, which is 1637.50 right now. And then there's, to me, there's three LVNs, because we're opening up in balance. There's three LVNs that we have to pay attention to. One at 36.50, 32 and a quarter, and 28 and a quarter from yesterday. Going over to the naked crosses. We didn't take out any naked crosses. We had rotational day that we put in prior. We took out some of the overnight ones yesterday, but we added 1633 from yesterday's RTH and 1635 and we'll 50, and we'll take a look at those. Naked cross is a study that I've been running for several years now, which is where the 9 EMA crosses over the 20 SMA, and price action moves away. The market has a very high probability of coming back and retesting that zone, re-auctioning it. We consider it very similar to a naked VPOC, which we also track. And we did take out the naked VPOC yesterday at 1639, and we added yesterday's VPOC, which remains naked at 1634. Going over to the news, we've had GDP and unemployment claims. We didn't really get much of a reaction off of it. We had a basically a 3-point wiggle rotation off of the news. We have FOMC, Bullard speaking, should be coming on just right about now, and then we've got natural gas this morning. But of course, we've got all kinds of headline risk going into the weekend because of the Syrian situation. So you got to be careful with a lot of headline risk today. Next thing we like to do is go through and take a look at the charts from a macro to a micro. Very clean chart just to get an idea of where we are within the trend in all time frames. So that we start with the monthly. Our monthly trend is still very much intact. We are trading in the middle of the distribution from the prior month. Our 9 EMA and 20 SMA have good slope and separation, and prices paralleling the 9 quite nicely. So we've got a very strong trend going on the monthly. Going over to the weekly tells a little bit of a different story. We've got a bit of a head and shoulder pattern setting up here. We've lost slope and separation on the 9 and the 20. We're coming down right now this week, and we're currently trading just below the 20 SMA. And you can see we have not closed below the the 20 SMA since 2012. So all of this year we've maintained our trading above the 20 SMA. Just we came down and tested it a couple times, but this is the first time coming into this weekend, if we continue to have some downward movement today and tomorrow, that we could have our first close of 2013 below, and again come down and continue to set up for this head and shoulders. Do I think that the trend is being violated? No, I think we're simply coming back and having a retrace and then a possible move higher to create the right shoulder of the head and shoulder formation that is showing up. Going to the daily, well, the daily again is reinforcing this move down. We've got slope and separation to the downside. We've come down and rejected the 9 EMA again. We're creating a bit of a tech gap again. So the tech gap is where we price moves away from the 9 EMA and then creates this area, what we call a tech gap, and this tech gap will be filled either through price action, where the price will move up or move down towards the 9 EMA and close it, through price action, or through time, where it moves sideways and the 9 EMA comes down to meet it. Usually it's a combination of both. But we are coming, we do have a bit of a tech gap on the daily, and we are coming back up, to close that gap. So I'm expecting a little bit of combination of both time and price movement to come up and close this. Taking a look at the geometric chart, well, we've been tracking this Andrews pitchfork for quite some time to the upside. We came up to the middle line, rejected it, came all the way down to the lower line of the upward sloping fork. We broke through it. At that point in time, I created this red fork, which is the counter downsloping fork, and we're currently coming off of the top of the downward sloping fork and coming down towards this middle center line of the downward Andrews pitchfork. Now, in the last couple of days, I've added a modified shift chart. A point being down on the last swing low, B point, C point, and we're currently, just trading off of the lower line. We've got an energy point that the three forks are creating that I've been keeping my eye on for a while, which is in the 1678, 1679 area. So we'll see if we can maintain, respect for this new white fork. I think it's white. I'm colorblind, and come up and test this energy point here, or if we break through this again, come down into test the center line of the downward sloping fork. That puts us into that 1581 to 1590 area, which we'll look at on our composite chart. Going over to the intraday, take a look at the 4-hour. 4-hour, you can see that we came down. We had a nice trend going down. We created this tech gap. We've consolidated sideways, closed the tech gap. We're losing slope on the 9 EMA and separation. We're coming into what we call an MA hug or squeeze. We're trading just above the 9 EMA on the 4-hour. We do have a naked cross on the 4-hour at 1655.50. Going to the 1-hour, we came down, we've lost slope, and then we popped up yesterday, and we were starting to trend up, came down a couple times, tested the 20 SMA, but we're currently trading right at the 9 EMA, but we've lost slope, but we do have separation. So doesn't really tell us anything on the 1 hour in terms of where we're at in the pattern of trend or not. And again, the same thing on the 15-minute. We've gone sideways, we've came up, created a tech gap, came down, closed the tech gap. We've got an MA squeeze going on here. We closed below the 9 and the 20, and we're currently trading below it. And there is a possible head and shoulder pattern setting up on the 15-minute as well. So going over to the composite chart, I did put a micro composite in for the last 2 days of trading here, and the micro composite VPOC is at 1637.50. We just came down off of that in the last few minutes. Our value area high is 1640. Our value area low is 1690, and we have a micro composite LVN at 3250, 35 and a quarter, and 39.75, and we're currently trading in this blunt area between that 67, which is really the key number above us, and this 29 and a quarter below us. But we are starting to get maturity around that 50.50, that 44.50, and that, of course, the 37.50, which is creating this microcomposite VPOC as well. But we're currently trading down here around 33.50, and then we've got another CHVN at 32. So this area is still somewhat unauctioned. We do have a fairly large wick. Sorry, I meant to send it back. We do have a fairly large wick from yesterday. This is unauctioned, unproperly auctioned territory, and there is a possibility that we get stuck in the wick as we further mature the auction in this area and come in and trade around this balance area inside the value area. So I'm expecting a pretty rotational day today, chop around this area between 29 and a quarter and this 54 area. Remember that CLVN that we had at 54, it shifted up to 55.75, but I'm expecting a lot of chop in here as we continue to mature the auction in this area and they continue to find where fair value is. Now if we get below 1629 and a quarter, things will shift as we come down to test the value area low of the microcomposite, and then get through out of this distribution area and down into where our next target is below, which is down here at this 1620 and a quarter. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice this morning. This is the microcomposite VPOC for this whole distribution area that went from 05-07-13 to 7-17, July 17th, where we went up and found new balance above and around that 1686.75 microcomposite VPOC up here. We've now come back down, found some balance around this 55. We created a microcomposite there, but we've fallen out of that balance, and we're coming down to test the significant microcomposite LVN and the composite CLVN, and if we get below there, we're now getting into this distribution zone down here, and come down to see if we can find some buyers around that 1620 and a quarter, with the other side of balance being down at that 1575 CLVN. And again, the profile day that we were looking at yesterday can come into play. The high of that profile day is 2650. The naked VPOC is still at 1619. Value area high is at 26. Value area low is at 1614. So just below that CLVN at 1615. And the key LVN of that profile day, and this is 7:05:13, is right at that CLVN at 1615.75. So if we breach below that, then the next destination is down into this former area where we had the microcomposite down here around 1608, where was the last time that we had perceived value before we made the launch and that move up and created those gaps, towards making the all-time new high up at 1705. So if we get below that 1575 area, then I'd be looking for a rotation back down to 1607, with the other side of balance being what? The centennial number, 1600, and CLVN. And really the other side of balance is all the way down here at 88.25, and that's that area that I was talking about. This now comes, if we get down here, then we're coming down to test the monthly trend line, okay, and possibly, break and create a new trend on the larger time frame down, and that's my next big destination point, is down here in the 1581, 1580 to 1591 level if we can't hold 1600. If we stay above 1629.50, then I'm looking for continuation back towards the dominant number at 37.50 in the microcomposite VPOC, and then next destination would be up at that 44.50, and the big number above being 55, with 58, 59.50 just above it. And then your value area high in the next distribution is up at 62, with the big key number being at 67. Above 67, we still have that naked microcomposite VPOC at 70.25. We came down, we missed it, one tick below, we one ticked above it on the first test, and then we gapped down below it on the second test. Then we came up and just missed it from below again, and that remains a naked microcomposite VPOC. So anything above 67, I'm looking for a break of this fractal high at 67.50 that we put in earlier this week, and then a break above to 70, with the other side of balance being 72.25. And then I think we get the bulls back in control there, and we make a move up towards that 86.75 microcomposite VPOC, and a possible new all-time high. And let's just go over to the Globex, and we'll get our Globex numbers moved over. Our Globex high right now is 1638.75. So that's 3 ticks above the value area high from yesterday. Our Globex low right now is at 1629.25. And that is just on the other side, or just right at the significant CLVN of the other side of balance below us. Sorry. Our overnight VPOC is at 31, and that's exactly where we're trading around right now. We found some balance down here. Our value area low is can't see. I'm going to expand this out for a second here. Our value area low is 31.50. We've got a naked close at 1632, and we've got our naked VPOC at 1634, and we've got those LVNs at 36.50 and 32.25 and the 28.25. That 28.25 was that naked close that we closed out yesterday. So currently right now we're trading in this lower distribution from yesterday around the CHVN at 31, and which is now the overnight VPOC. I expect it to be quite choppy on the open. I'm going to be patient with this open, but we're likely to close out the naked close on the open if we stay trading around this area. Once we close that out, we'll be looking for responsive sellers to step in and take us down towards the overnight VPOC, the overnight low, take out the overnight low. We've got a 96% probability of taking the overnight low or the overnight high. As we're trading below the LVN at 32.25, I'd be looking for the overnight low to be taken out first, and then come down and test the open from yesterday at 27 and the 20. Remember now that we're getting into that area below, and that profile day of 7.5 that has the high at 26, and possibly get into its value area, come down, test the RTH low at 24.75, and then we've got that naked VPOC down here at 16.19.25, and of course our big destination below, which is the microcomposite VPOC down here at 16.20.25. So there's some targets down there. There's really not much else below us there. Above us, of course, if we come up and we get above this 32 and get inside and stay inside the value area from the prior day, and we trade in there for the required time for the value area rule to play out. It's no longer called the 80% rule. Dalton has changed the name of it. I would expect us to come up through to the naked VPOC at 34 and continuation. The first resistance up above would be into that 1636 level. Remember, 37.50 is our current microcomposite VPOC, and the CHVN from the upper distribution from yesterday at 37.50 with the value area high at 38. And we've got our overnight high at 38.50 and the RTH high at 39.25. And if we get up in here, I'm expecting the possibility of getting into a light volume drift upwards as we come into the holiday weekend. The only caveat to that is we do have some serious headline news with Syria that could spook us. So it's kind of a mixed bag. Usually I'd be very, very bullish going into today and tomorrow, but with everything that's going on, you've got to be cautious. You're going to trade light and tight, and make sure that you know your levels and where you're wrong quickly. I'm going to be looking to do business in around this 1632 area. I'm going to be looking to do business down here at the 24 level, and I'll be looking possibly at doing something if we break below that 1629, coming into that 26.50 value area high from that profile day. And then the other area that I'll be looking to do business is up here at this 36.50 LVN and up at the range high from yesterday at 39.25. And I am keeping the room open, and we'll be trading it live. In our live trade room, we trade 2 contracts, and we fund the first contract whenever we can at 3 ticks from entry, and let our other contract run to skew our risk reward properly. Let's just take a quick look at gold. We have been had a really great gold trade. The first one was that break above the 1300 with the target at that 88.60 area, and then we said if we got above the 1400 that you want to get long into that, with the target being 1430.40. And we've completed those 2 moves. We have a shooting star from yesterday morning. I said that we're likely, now that we've come up into and test the value area high of the microcomposite of this distribution zone around the microcomposite VPOC at 1388.60, which was our target from below when we broke 1300. I said that we'd likely come back down and rotate down back towards that 1388 and chop around in this distribution area. If we get above 34, I'd be looking to make a move up to test the other side of balance up here at the 1639.90. And then the next target above is up here at this 14.50 1468, yeah, 1468.40, which is the area that we are trying to hold value before we fell down to this microcomposite in this balance area down here. So that's my immediate target above if we get through the CLVN at 1439.90 and get outside of the value area of 1430.80. So that's what I'm looking at for gold. Take a quick look at the profile. You can see we're clearly finding some balance. We've got nice bell shape. The POC is at 1636.75. The value area is 1380. 1638 and a quarter and 1633, and we're currently trading down below that. That's what I've got this morning. Howard, over to you.
Thank you, Doug.
Howard, I don't hear you if you're speaking.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Can hear you now.
Okay. Looking at the monthly chart, we have 2 days left to trade in this month, today and tomorrow, and thus far we're forming a monthly dark cloud cover pattern. Unless we, get more significant selling coming in and move below 1593 and a quarter, it'll likely remain a dark cloud cover pattern. But if we get below that level, we have the potential to create a monthly key reversal candle, which would be a very significant candle, where we have a higher high, a lower low, and a close below the prior candle's low. But in 2 days, it's possible to get there, but there have to be a lot of selling coming in. And with lighter volume coming in and the holiday weekend coming up, may pose a challenge to that, but with something breaking in Syria, that could very easily cause market sell-off from that with the news exposure. Going to the weekly. The weekly is shaping up to be a key reversal candle. We did have this retracement last week from the 20 SMA. So far this week we've had a higher high, a lower low, and our close is currently below last week's low at 1631.50. So it's, normally we look for this pattern to be right at a top, but it came after a retracement here, so hard to say, but at a minimum it'll be a bearish engulfing from the prior week if we stay at these levels. And thus far this week we are below this 20 SMA, so we have today and tomorrow to see if we stay below that level. On the daily, we can see from our high of the year, which came up and touched this white line here, represents a middle line of a 20-year fork pattern on a monthly chart. And we came right to that level, and we've rejected strongly off of it. We have a 5-wave structure forming here, where here's 1, 2, 3, 4, and here's a 5th wave. We've already broken below this 3rd wave. And I have targets from 1619 to 1622, and thus far we've come as low as 1624.75, so within 3 ticks of the upper target. So it may be complete, or we may have a little more work to do. That remains to be played out. Let's take a look at market breadth. So this middle chart here represents a 10-day average of advanced decline statistics. The NYSE is in blue, the NASDAQ in red, and with yesterday we had an update. The averages crept up a bit, and we can see that they bottomed here on 8/19 for both the advanced declines, and the lower chart we have the up-down volume. So we have a low on that date of the 19th. Price has since come lower, but the market breadth studies have actually moved higher. So, one interpretation is that price is continuing to move lower on lower breadth to push it lower, and that possibly we're looking to form a bottom here and maybe rally. We have a bit of a non-convergence here, non-confirmation. And as we can see, we hit highs here on July 9th, but price continued to move higher as these studies moved lower. Eventually, breadth thinned out as we made our market top at 1705, and these advanced decline up-down volume studies continued moving lower, which brought price down with them. So we'll see if we've come close to making a bottom here or not. That could coincide with our wave 5 target once we hit it. Again, these are hypotheses. We'll wait to see if the market confirms that. So we'll look at how the sectors have been doing. So the sectors yesterday looked to be pretty mixed. Consumer staples looks like it's been moving lower and continuing lower. Energy has moved higher. And pretty much a mixed bag here with among the sectors. Retail continues to be relatively weak relative to the other markets, but still holds on to its leadership for the year. Home builders has come back into the bottom of the sectors. So a little bit of a mixed bag here as we are possibly finding a temporary bottom here. Looking at the transports now versus industrials. They seem to be staying in sync, so nothing really to note there. And with that, Doug, I think that's all I've got. Turn it back over to you. About 5 to 6 minutes till open.
Thanks, Howard. Just a quick look at the Renko with Keltner. We've come down, had a close below the lower Keltner line, had a Renko reversal, closed back below, so a possible walk the line setup to the downside. I just got into a trade while Howard was talking, so it's not going to be part of the live room, but once we went up and once we broke back below that 29 area that I was looking to do business, I did take the short. I'm running one short with one funded right now, but it's not going to be part of the official trade. We could get a possible walk the line down to that 26.50 area to test on the open, but we'll have to see how they handle it. I've got my stop right now at 29.75, so I could get stopped out of this on the runner. This is going to conclude the morning homework session and market preview and trade plan setup for Thursday, August the 29th, 2013. As always, trade well, trade safe, and we will catch you on the flip side. And you go ahead and close the recording down now, guys.